Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be working in our front garden, and I really just need to be out here because it has been raining the last couple of days and things just are kind of flopping over like meh, and it looks a little bit messy. I kind of feel like I've gotten away from the front garden just because we've been working on projects in the back that this kind of slipped a little bit and I kind of skipped my scheduled days to work out here. So today is that day. We're going to tidy it up. We're not doing a deep clean yet just because we still have a lot of things flowering and blooming and they look pretty, but I do want to get things ready in the front because we're going to be doing some fall containers here pretty soon, and we do have rain on the forecast. And for me, I find it that the more I cut things back, the better they do when it does rain, so it's not so heavy on them. So I'm going to show you the beds that we are going to be working in today, and then we will grab some tools, some gloves, and my yard debris bin, and we will just jump right in. So starting out over here, my stepdad is going to finish moving our compost pile to the back, which I'm really excited about. I want to come in with my leaf blower and just kind of blow some of these fallen leaves. Our dahlias are finally blooming in the front and they have been so glorious and beautiful. Just look at that cafe au lait. And I've only planted cafe au lait in the front. What I want to do is come in and clean some of our annual flowers here. So like our cosmos, they're just getting really like knocked down by the rain and they have powdery mildew. So I want to clean them up. I'm probably just going to pull them out at this point because we do have some in the back. I'm going to leave the seed heads of this allium here just because I think it looks beautiful. It provides fall and winter interest, and the birds will get to them. Now, right around the corner here is where we start to see a little bit of a mess. So as you can see, I did a bad job at staking our dahlias. You can see this branch pretty much broke over, which I'm so upset about. I'm going to clean out some of our scabiosa, and our lemon bee balm just got wow, just trampled over. Look at this. I mean, the bees are still loving them. There's a lot of bee activity, but I do want to come in and just probably, I'm going to harvest these and just make an arrangement with them. And in the back here, it's not looking too bad. Well, I'm kidding. The zinnias just are not, they're not doing it over here. They just keep flopping over. I'm going to try to cut them back and see if we can salvage any of them. And I want to also start weeding because we've had so much rain the last couple of days. It makes weeding actually very enjoyable. And let's see on the other bed how we're looking. Our island bed is not looking too hot because our little limes are flopping over. I didn't prune them too hard this year, and I think that's what's going on with them because they typically don't flop this much for us. So I'm going to clean that up. I also might come in and remove this masquerade penstemon just because it doesn't do a whole lot for us once it's done blooming. I like the foliage and I do think it's a beautiful spring flower, but it's just not, I don't love it. So I don't want to keep it. I don't like to keep things I don't love in my garden. And I also have one on the other side. Let's see how it's doing. Yeah, see, it just, well, I mean, this one is doing better, but I don't know. I think we can do something different over here that's going to give us a little bit more interest, but I do love that beautiful foliage. Now this bed doesn't look too bad in the back end, at least. I do want to come in here and cut some of these spent blooms on the Rudbeckia. I might cut down a little bit of our peony here. I wait till the leaves are completely just mush to cut it back. I think it provides beautiful fall interest. The leaves start to turn color and they're so pretty. I will probably be deadheading some of these zinnias, but oh my gosh, just look at that bloom. Our hostas look okay. They're not thriving, but they don't look terrible. I will probably come in here, just sneak under here and cut some of the really bad leaves. And then, oh, well, see, now looking at the bee balm back here, I kind of want to leave it because yes, it flopped all the way over, but the bees are enjoying it. And I do think it looks kind of pretty. So once we get back there, we'll decide. Again, I will be moving the cosmos in this bed as well, just tidy it up. Really bad powdery mildew back here this year, and I don't want to spray just because we're going to get more rain, so it's just going to wash away anyway. I will, let's see, also clean up down here. There's some gloves on there. Now if I just swing over, Sergey is going to come in and mow today. It's just been raining so much that we haven't. Yes, I do have to clean up these Rebekahs. They do not look too hot right now. I will harvest some of these dahlias as well. And our delphinium just got wrecked by the rain. So I think I will go ahead and cut these back. You know, I love this delphinium so much, but I'm thinking it might need like a peony cage because it does this for us every year. If you grow delphiniums in your garden, let me know if yours are doing the same. They just get so top heavy and they're such a beautiful flower. I don't want to get rid of it because it's one of my favorites, but I do think maybe putting a cage around it next year will help it stay more upright. Ooh, and look at this. Our Lisianthus are finally going to bloom for us. I started these from seed months and months and months ago, and they haven't been doing much. I mean, they've been growing, but this will be the first time that they bloom. This lemon bee balm, I definitely have to cut back just because it's in the path of our grass. This dahlia is... She's had better days. I actually had one over here that completely fell over in the storm. Not a storm, but the rain that we just had. This one looks like it's on its way out too. So what I'm going to do is cut all of these blooms. I'm going to cut it super short and just use it in an arrangement and just let it continue putting on a little bit of growth until we're ready to dig up the tubers. And back here, I think we're looking okay. See, this is the hosta that looks really beat up and raggedy. I'm gonna clean her up. And then if I swing over here, our zinnias, I'm going to deadhead down here. And I might go ahead and just remove some of these snapdragons just because they're, again, top heavy. They're gonna flop over, but I can use them in an arrangement. And I think from here, we're just going to remove the cosmos like I mentioned. I'm gonna cut back a little bit of our verbena. I just talked about this flower in a recent video, showing you guys my favorite fall flowering perennials, but just look at that. Isn't that so pretty? Such delicate little flowers, and the bees have just been loving it. So yes, let's go ahead and get our tools and get to work. All right, here we are. I am so happy to have gotten this done. My brain can just be at rest a little bit now that things are a little bit more tidy. We're starting out over here. I want to show you guys. The hose is still a situation. It's not its permanent home. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with our hoses. I thank you guys so much for all of your great suggestions in our other video where I asked your recommendations. But anyways, we got this all tidied up, and let me just actually go in here in the bed. This is a hole that I'm leaving open just because it's one of the where we had our oh my gosh, ruby jewel maple in here that we dug up. So there's still room to add something back here, so I'm going to leave it open. I also left these little cosmos. These are, I think, bright light cosmos. These self-seeded, and you know what? It actually turned out perfect because they just started blooming, and it adds an element of orange and fall over here. And let's see, let's go out of the bed. And if we swing around this area, I'm so happy my stepdad finished moving the compost for me. That was just sitting here for longer than I wanted. The bed looks very nice and tidy from the front. I just love when Sergey edges the beds, which we do pretty often, probably almost every time he mows, if not every other time. It just keeps a nice sharp edge that I really love. But you know what's funny? I come in with compost every single year and it just settles so much. It's incredible how much compost we've put in our beds ever since we bought our home a few years back. It's been such a game changer for our plants, but oh my gosh, I feel like we can just never have enough. We got some of the dahlias cleaned up. We got the lemon bee bulb cleaned up, and it looks much tidier over here. I didn't want to rip them out yet because I still think they're going to put on some growth and blooms, and the bees were not super happy that I was in their area, but they also have plenty of food throughout our whole entire garden. And this area also just feels a lot better. I feel like I can breathe, or it can breathe and I can breathe. Cleaned up some of the zinnias, but I'm gonna go ahead and just let them continue blooming just because, look at this. Look at that pop of color. Isn't it just so pretty? And it's kind of like unexpected back here. So I'm gonna leave these. And if we swing over to our island bed, it looks a lot tidier. I went ahead and just left the penistum. I'm just gonna leave it for now and then we'll clean it up later. But oh my gosh, look at how pretty the emperor looks. Now in this bed, I didn't do too much cleaning up back here anyway. I actually didn't even go. I forgot about that hosta, but I'm just gonna leave it and I'll clean that up in our next bed maintenance day. I'll make sure just to make a mental note to come back. I did leave the lemon bee balm back here because we removed so much of the cosmos. So I wanted to leave something back here for the bees, and then that leaves an open area where we can come in with a hinoki. I've talked about it before. I kind of want to plant a hinoki right over there. But at least that bed is nice and just cleaned up and tidied and ready for me to come in with some pretty things to plant. We got some of the rudbeckias cleaned up as well. Over here, you can just see how much better they look. You see all of this new growth? Isn't that so stunning? I love this variety so much. So one of you guys asked about the variety. I mentioned it in our previous video, and the tag says August Sunset. And when I did my search, I also couldn't find it. Some of you mentioned that you couldn't find it. I'm thinking it's probably Autumn Sunset or Cherokee Sunset, I think, because nobody is able to find it, and that's all the tag said was August Sunset Rudbeckia. So anyways, it just looks much tidier. I did want to come in and still clean our pineapple lilies back there, but it's just like, I know it's all fallen over, but I still love that like green texture back there. So until I'm ready to come in and plant some other stuff, I'm just gonna leave it as is. We got some of the dahlias here cleaned up as well. And this dahlia, I really chopped her down, and that's okay because we still have another, oh gosh, maybe a month and a half of our dahlia season. So I am very confident that this is going to put on more growth. I will come in and spray our dahlias. I didn't want to spray our cosmos just because the powdery mildew just really took them over. Where the dahlias are starting to show a little bit of it, you can see enough so, or not too much where I can't fix it with some sulfur. So I will come in and spray those. We got a bit of the zinnias in here cleaned up, and I just left them because they just add just a cute pop of white. And then with the snapdragons, I also left because I'm not ready to come in with plants yet, but if I do remove them, I might just add a little bit more compost in here just to mulch it up a little bit, or I will come in with I don't know, maybe some pansies or something fall. It's just, we still have a lot of warm temperatures coming up, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer, cut back a little bit of the verbena. But again, this is one of those flowers that I just plant it and I forget about it, and it just looks beautiful like this all season long. And just look at the bees. Oh, they're just it's such a bee magnet. I love it so much, and so do the bees and the butterflies. And if I step back, just look at how much nicer it looks. It was looking a little out of control there for a minute, but it makes me happy just to have things cleaned up, just because fall is such a season of cleaning and prepping for winter gardens. And I also like to do a little bit of prep for spring gardens. So I like to clean my beds and keep them tidied all year long. I'm not one of those people that just leaves the leaves in the beds. I actually like to scoop them up. So this is just a good way to get ahead of it and not get too overwhelmed with all of the work that I know is about to come our way. There's one thing I wanted to mention to you guys. Whenever I'm doing detailed work in beds like this and cutting down some spent blooms, I love to use these little snips. These are ones that I typically use for flower arranging. I have ones for flower arrangements and ones that I just use like this in the garden, so it's pretty beat up. But I like these just because the spring is really nice. They're small enough and they're very ergonomic in my opinion, and they just get into tight little areas. I will link this down below if you're looking just for a reliable, quick and easy snip that really just gets into, like, look at that, just tight little areas where I feel like my Felcos or my Fiskars, they're a bit bigger. Of course, I can always size down and get, their snips, but I love this one so much. It's one of my favorite garden tools that I have. And the unexpected bonus or benefit of cleaning out your beds is I got to harvest some beautiful flowers that I will go and make a quick arrangement with. All right, guys, well, I am going to go ahead inside and start helping everybody with dinner. They've gotten started without me. I'm so happy that my stepdad and Sergey came out and helped me tidy things up. It was actually a lot more than I had anticipated, so it's okay. I'm still super happy with everything and how everything looks. Now the flower beds look tidier, and now I can come in with some of my fall things and get them planted and decorated, and that just makes me happy. Like I said, I'm just like such an OCD person, and if I see things out of order, it's just like constantly playing in the back of my head, like, you gotta get that done, you gotta get that done. So I'm just happy that we were able to come out here and get it done, and I feel like I might have dirt on my face. If I do, I'm sorry, but it's part of gardening. It's all part of it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today in my garden, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.